What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? I'm Mr. Dumb Rocks, and I'm back again with part 2 of how to stream on Twitch. Now, in my first video, I showed you an example of all of the software that you require, all the basics in regards to software you require, a gaming PC or a PC that is perfectly adequate to stream with. I do admit that the i7 can be a bit overkill for some people, so having an i5 processor, which is just a quad core rather than a quad core plus hyperthreading, which is what an i7 is. You can go for a lesser processor, even a lesser graphics card if you require. I'm just looking at the top end. This is what I'm using, and this is how I get like the pretty good quality stream that I run without having to resort to having a secondary PC as my streaming PC. Now, this video is going to focus on OBS over game capture software or the broadcaster. So I'm going to load up OBS, and here we go. This is the 32-bit version, and we're going to go over a few things in regards to Dxtory and OBS. So you got OBS running, and to be quite honest, I'll go grab Dxtory as well. So let's just grab Dxtory from here. And there are a few things you need to do if you're going to run Dxtory and stream. And I've done a video on this before, but I'm going to go and update this now, and I'm doing a bit of a series on it. So here's Dxtory. And one of the first things you need to do once you've launched Dxtory is go to Ignore Settings and add these two exceptions. So if you click on the Add button, it'll put this up, and then you can point it to wherever you need to go. So as you can see here, this is pointing to ignore OBS in both the 32 and the 64-bit versions of this software. This saves Dxtory conflicting with OBS if you're using Dxtory to capture your video. Now obviously if you're using a capture card, you can ignore this step completely. In fact, you can skip, and I'll put something on the screen so you can skip straight ahead to the point in time where we're talking about something else, where we're not talking about Dxtory. So okay, focusing on Dxtory right now. So you have to edit and ignore targets. So Dxtory will never try to capture OBS. They just don't like it. They conflict in that way. Click OK. You're done. You don't need to touch it again in the target section there. As long as the game is, it appears in this list here, in this drop-down list, as something that Dxtory can target. Sometimes it has some issues. I know someone who has some issues with trying to target and capture Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas for some reason, as well as some other issues with other games. Oh, excuse me. For whatever reason. But yeah, so basically Dxtory will see that there is something running, i.e. the process list. It will see that a game is running and then allow you to capture it, and then you'll get the overlay from Dxtory basically stating that it can see the game. So here in the second section here, you can see your overlay settings. You can turn it off completely, you can turn it on, you can display video FPS, write file FPS and record status, change the colors of how this appears, and move it around your screen if you want to. I tend to just leave it in the top left corner, the same way Place Fraps also puts it. It stays out the way, it's not obtrusive, and it's not really a big deal, to be quite honest. So then if you were going to record using this piece of software, you need to point Dxtory to a folder or to a hard drive, not your main drive, so not your C drive, to any external drive or any additional drive. I have several 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte solid mechanical hard drives, and obviously just one solid state drive. You don't want to be recording to your source drive, so don't record to your C drive whatsoever. It is just not recommended, and especially tend to not record to standard SSDs. The Pro versions, so the more of the enterprise, are more robust, and that's what they're designed for. They're designed for heavy duty usage, whether you're recording video or they're in servers, heavy read and writes, or heavy writes. But I digress. We'll move on. So when we're looking at streaming, we don't need to really look at this. Obviously your keyboard shortcuts need to be set up, so if you press, like this is set to F12, so you press F12, it'll capture the game, and then obviously you can have the stream running and have multiple scenes set, so you can capture your game, have something else on the screen whilst you pick a server, and then no one will see which server you're joining if you're playing DayZ and you don't want to be stream sniped, etc., etc. That is all your options there. I have push to talk running, which doesn't affect this at all when you're streaming, because OBS will be capturing your mic as a separate input, not via Dxtory whatsoever. So it's not really an issue there. And in the next one, I've covered this before and I'll put a link, but basically install Lagareth Lossless Video Codec. It's the one that's recommended quite highly. It's one that I use to record and to stream with. Or you can just go with Dxtory's own. It's up to you. It's perfectly up to you. But Lagareth seems to work fine for me. And you have to tick a few boxes and change a few things around. So over here on the frame rate section, I tend to just leave it at 30 FPS. That's adequate enough. I record at 30 FPS. I don't do a lot of slow-mo, slowing down a video anyway. So 30 FPS is adequate. You change the file output, so you untick file output and make it direct show output. And then we're going to go to a different menu right now, and I will show you that as well. So here we go. This is your basically where the output Dxtory video settings need to be set. Now I tend to stream at 720p, so you need to set your width at 1280 and your height at 720, essentially 720p. You can have it cropped, extended, stretched. I just leave it stretched, and that purely because the preset for 720p doesn't appear in this list here at all. And this we'll have a look at OBS in a second, and I'll leave everything else alone. So we're only going to use video output 1, set 1280 by 720. We're done. You can walk away from this. Just click OK. You're all sorted there. I need to make sure that your audio is set up. Like right now, this is for some reason is only set to capture my my microphone audio. So if we add another one, this will be, obviously I've been using some different bits of software, so we're just going to set this to our speakers, so the Realtek high definition audio. This will be different for you, to me, and everything else can stay the same. There's no real big issue there, and so that's a record microphone as well. I'm going to set this back to actually just recording on here, because I don't need it in regards to OBS, because I'm using a capture card. I'm just covering it anyway. I tend to use a capture card for streaming, and then I use OBS. I use Dxtory, for recording directly to a hard drive, and or just use Shadow Play to capture those quick clips when you want, like when you've just done that epic small kill on Battlefield 4 or something. Screenshots, not really a big deal. We can ignore this completely. This will just take screenshots. You can set a few settings here. I don't really use it all that much. I don't tend to make screenshots whilst in game. You need to give this some processing threads. So I've got obviously 8. I've got my 4 plus my I've got up to 8 because I've got my hyper-threading. So I've just set this at 4, left it alone, and then if you've got multiple GPUs and you're using Dxtory, you can enable multi-GPU fix here. This just improves, it's just an environment improvement. Excuse me, that's a yawn. If you're running SLI, graphics cards, etc., etc., and if you're running SLI, then fair play to you. But anyway, now we're gonna minimize this. We're gonna walk away. We don't need Dxtory anymore. Hopefully, I've covered the basics there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new scene, and I'm just gonna go this. I'll leave this as scene. Just leave it as scene. It's perfectly fine. So in sources, I'm gonna use this scene to do everything right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a video capture device, and I'm going to leave that as video capture device. This is all the preset titles for everything. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this to Dxtory video 1, and then we're going to click OK. And then I'm going to go back and I'll show you because you may have just missed it, because I just missed it. It'll already have the resolution settings, so it's set to capture at 1280, 720, 30 FPS, RGB 32. Everything else you can leave alone. Your audio input, not output, input on this scene can be left alone completely, because we're capturing audio all the time. But you can change some things here. Excuse me. So yeah. So essentially, there we go. That is that set. Nothing else needs to be set here. We click OK, and that if I click on preview right now, you'll see that it's preset here at 720p, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set it to fit to screen. So now when I maximize this is actually fit. This scene here is the whole of that Dxtory window, and obviously it's not capturing anything at the moment because there's no game running, and it's not set to capture anything. So we're going to obviously just leave that alone for the moment, and we're going to click unclick edit scene. We're going to stop the preview. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a few other things, and I will show you my layout, the current one that I'm using, and then you can go from here yourself. So I'm going to click on Overlay 2, and I've got, if you take the video capture devices as they are, you'll see that my webcam will be running shortly, and I'll probably turn that off for the duration of this video, or it's only small, so it's not a big deal. So we click Preview. And this will preview everything that's on the screen. This is going to go a bit wild right now, so I'm going to shut this down. You can see I'm on my screen here, and for some reason that's seen there. That one right there, my webcam, which is this one here, needs to be a bit wider for some reason. I don't know why. It's slightly cut off there, but there you go. So you can see I got my webcam running. I've got a big blank square over here, and that is the rest of my desktop. And yes, it's looping backwards and backwards all the way through this because we're not capturing any game, and I'm using my capture card. So if I turn off the bottom layer, we'll go black. Here we go. Here's just me, and I'm running a green screen, hence that's why everything else is behind me is transparent, and that is why that looks like that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to show you some other applications that you may want to use, and then I'll show you as they appear on my stream, and we'll look at the software, and then I'll show you how to basically have them as an overlay on your stream. So I'm going to stop this right now, and we'll minimize, and we'll come back to you in a second. So here we go. So the first one, you'll probably have seen a lot of streamers with their chat on screen. Now you've got a bunch of different options, and the first one I'll show you, if you want to keep it nice and simple, is we're going to go to Twitch. I'm going to go to my stream. So here we go. This is my stream. This is the last thing I did. We were continuing the adventures of the Fearless Hero, and I was playing Fallout Tales of Two Wastelands. It's a mod for Fallout 3 and New Vegas. So this is my the last game I played. This is my stream. Excuse me. One of the options you have if you're using better Twitch TV is pop out. It'll make it disappear from your actual stream feed here, and I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to bring this back over here, and once this logs in, we'll see that I'm back in my stream. This is me in my actual my chat. So my chat is all here contained in this window. If I shrink this down slightly, and what we'll do is we'll go back to here, and I'll edit on this one, and then I'll go back to I'll look at the other piece of software in Overlay 2. So in scene 1, what we're going to do is we're going to add a window capture, and we're going to click OK, and the only window that's open is Twitch. This is the title of it here is Twitch-Google Chrome. So that's what's running. So I'm going to click Preview, and here we go. So we've now got twitch.tv. We've got this all up on the screen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag you out the way because it'll continue to capture, and I'm going to maximize. So now as you can see, we've got the Twitch chat on stream. Now if you don't want to show everything, if you press Alt, you can then drag this down, and you can hide some of the extras. So you can say just have the chat box just here. And then if anyone's ever chatting in your stream, you can see them speaking like this. You can see that there's you can see people, and I'm going to type it in my stream right now. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And then it'll kind of repeat slightly, and it gets a bit, as you can see, it's got a bit confused here, and actually over here it's definitely got a bit confused. So we're gonna for some reason it's gone a bit mental. Here we go. It sorted itself. So here we go. So that is how the text will appear, how the chat will appear on the stream, and it's currently set to the maximum width. Should display the maximum width of text, and this will drop down. So if someone writes 2 or 3 lines of text in the chat box, it'll drop down to fit it. So it's pretty much the right size for any one stream, and you can have it any size you want. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. Needs to be tend to be eligible. You need to be able to read it. You don't necessarily need to be able to read it, but it can be just on your stream, and it's nice to have. And then you can go back, and because you don't keep a copy of the chat on your computer or anywhere else, it's good if you want to, people can reference. So if you VOD something and you're talking as you play a game because someone asked a question, people can reference that question, and they understand what you're saying, and they were like, oh, that's what he means. He's answering such and such about Arma 3 or streaming on Twitch or OBS or something specific. That is an option. One of the other options, and I'm going to remove this now, one of the other options, if I stop you, one of the other options is a piece of software called Chatty. Now this is great because it's more versatile than Twitch, the Twitch chat. And I'm going to launch Chatty, and we're going to go over a few things. So I'm going to sign in, and this will be me connecting, and this is only me because I'm signing into my account, and this will be showing the streams because this is connecting to my chat, only my chat. You can use this application and sign in on your Twitch account, and then it will connect you. You can connect to quite a few people's streams. Now, as you can see, it's quite big, it's quite versatile. You can see which users are in the stream right now. Like at the moment, you can see I'm logged in, and Nightbot, which is a bot to stop spam and other stuff going on in your stream, is all set there. And well, essentially, you want to be able to fit your chat in on your stream. So I'm going to move this out the way a second. Over here, I've got more than one monitor, so we're going to move it out the way, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another scene, and we're going to do it again. We're going to go back to window capture, click OK, and now it's set to Chatty because it's the only other window open. Now if we click preview stream, what we're going to see is a big box here. So look, we've got all the chat here, we've got everything we don't need, we've got like more stuff than we need to fill. So now I'm going to shrink everything down. And you can have this as large as you want, but what you're going to make sure is you're not going to be cutting off any text when you're shrinking this box down. And then you can have this any way you want. One thing I tend to do, because Chatty does it for you, is if you bunch things up slightly, it may look a bit broken just on stream here, but if you bunch things up on here, it'll automatically move everything down a line on text on screen. And then now you can set this to whatever size you want, stretch it really, really big, whatever, not too big, essentially. But you can have this any size you want, and then you can do exactly what you did with the Twitch pop-up chat, but it's with a piece of software, which is Java-based. It's really low latency, doesn't take any processing to run. And this allows you to change your colors. So you can give your admins or your moderators specific colors. You can give yourself a specific chat color that only appears on your stream. You can give followers or donators, subscribers specific colors. One interesting one that a bunch of streamers do is the more you donate, which is not necessarily an incentive, it's a reward for being distinguished in their stream, is that you have a different chat on their stream. Not in the chat itself, but in the stream. So Chatty will see the colors, but on the Twitch chat that's embedded into the stream itself on the browser, it won't show these different colors at all. One of the interesting ones that a streamer called Oshi7 has, he has rainbow. And those rainbow users are the insane ones that have donated like over $2,000 or something stupid. I'm one of them, oddly, of the last 12, 18 months or something. But anyway, so that allows you to distinguish your MVP followers, viewers, donators, whatever, by giving them a specific color, and that appears on the stream itself. And it's kind of great that you can do that you can do that with Chatty, and it also brings in a bunch of new other things for emotes and other stuff that I'm not really going to cover right now. But essentially, Chatty is a great piece of software. It's very versatile and allows you to do a lot of things really easily, and that's what it's there for, and that'll help you out there. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to cover, and this is specific because I like this piece of software. It is self-contained, and it works well. They fixed a lot of bugs. It's going to be covering and helping a lot of people who stream on different platforms. And I'm going to stop this right now, and we'll come back after we've had a look at that piece of software. So the other piece of software that we're going to look at is Sub Alert. So I'm going to launch this now and open this up, and here we go. And it'll run Sub Alert. It comes up with this nice little information. Basically, they're adding support for Hitbox as well as Twitch and a few other streaming services. So we're going to click OK, and we're going to launch. It's a free piece of software. Put a link in the description to this. And so what we've done is I've got my channel name. I'm connected to Mr. Dom Rocks. It's all me. And the thing that I'm going to have running is follower alerts and donator alerts. They're going to be running on my stream. And you're wondering how? How can you get these pop-ups that these streamers have? The graphics I'll leave down to you, but the very basics are as follows. So we're going to have a look at this very quickly. I'm only going to cover this in brief, and the rest you'll have to work out yourself. So select the site. The moment it's covering Hitbox and Twitch, because Hitbox is the only other alternative to stream on, Twitch being the main one at the moment. The enabled services we have are followers and donators, because I'm not a partnered streamer. I don't have a subscriber button. I'm not, that level. I want to be on that level. I'd love to be on that level, but I'm not on that level. So we're gonna look at it as we've got followers, we've got donators, and this is a great piece of software. Really easy to configure once you get your head around the way things work. So we're going to go to follower bar, and what you'll get is all of this, and then one of these over here. And as you can kind of get the idea that this, ignoring the green, which is essentially just going to work like green screen, ignoring the green, the rest of this whole box, this image and the text, the image is static and the text is dynamic. It changes depending on whether you have a donation or a or a follow. So we've got the follow one, and the name will change and it'll say just followed, and then you can obviously say thank you to that person who just followed live on stream. If you're getting a new viewer in and this person is wants to follow you or wants to donate to you, and you can use this piece of software as well for subscription. So we'll give them like a pop-up saying, I don't know, Freddie Mercury just subscribed, and you're like, Freddie Mercury, hey, welcome to the stream, etc., etc. As an example there. God rest that man. Anyway, so you can have background, you can have just a simple bar that appears, you can set this as colors, you had to make the background yourself. I kind of used someone else's and did some editing, and that's how I got that background I've got. And that kind of fits in with the theme of the rest of my overlay, and it appears on the side when something pops up, when I get a follow or if I get a donation. You can also give this its own audio, so you can set this to play a sound effect, and you can add that sound and set its volume, and that will be then how it appears. It'll pop up on your stream from the bottom to the top, it'll appear, and it'll then play that sound. Animation speed can be 2 seconds, so that's how fast it moves, and it'll stay on the screen for 8 seconds. You can increase that depending on whether you want it for longer or not. And what we're going to do, so like we've got a bunch of different options here. Text file only, we've got a fade, fade in, fade out, right, left. At the moment I have it appearing out of nowhere and coming up, so bottom up, and that lines up with the rest of my overlay. The text, you can set the font, you can set its size, you can do all these things and move things around, and I'm not going to go any more in depth on this. You do this for donators and followers, and the bar has to be that, the whole box has to be that big, because the donators one is bigger, purely because the donators one is designed to have their user's name and then the message that they post. And this is all connected to I Am Raising. Now I'll put the link in the description for I Am Raising, iamraising.com or .net or something like that, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's essentially a means to receive donations to your PayPal account. It's completely free, they don't take any cut on any of the money that you earn, and essentially it allows people to put their name, their amount that they're going to donate to you, and then a custom message, whatever that may be. You can filter that via I Am Raising so it doesn't have any swear words and bad language or whatever you want. And then it'll process through PayPal, through their PayPal account by putting in their password, and then direct payment to you. It's completely free. It's something I've been using a little bit, and I've had a couple of donations via it. It works really well, and as long as, the reason why I'm saying use Sub Alert is because it's self-contained. It's within your software. It's on your computer. And whilst the message is being transferred via I am raising, and as long as I am raising is syncing up correctly, it'll transfer to you really quickly. It's better than having a browser-based donation system that adds another bit of latency. So you have I am raising sending it to one of the other browser-based alerts that then has to send it to your screen, and it all takes time, and this makes it a bit quicker. So you can keep, there's those donations take place and you see them. Same with the follows. It's all self-contained. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save and Close, and I'm going to put this out the way. Actually, I'm going to click Start, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, actually I need to return to config a second, because with this, because I use 2 monitors on my single PC, I need to move this back to wherever I wanted it off this page here. And so I do this, so essentially what happens is my game screen is what this is here. My gaming screen here is what I see. Then I can look to my chat in Chatty, which is over here on my separate screen, which you can't see, and to the actual Sub Alert image as well, which allows me to see who donated in the message. And there's also a session log, so I can see who followed, the donations it received, and I can read the message that they sent me as well. So we're going to go back to OBS down here, and then we're going to add that window to our overlay. So here we go. That says status alert, and we want main alert, and we're going to click OK, and I'm going to click preview. So now what you've got your chat, and you can get rid of this white box quite easily. It's not that hard. And then you've got your donation. And if I go over here to session log, I can test followers like this, and this is how it'll appear. And if I test donations, it might take a couple of seconds to go through. I have to wait for this animation to end, I think. And there's that one, and that's how that appears. So this is how it works on this page here, and it kind of doesn't make sense because it doesn't really connect to anything. If I go to overlay 2 and I move the webcam out of the way, the webcam control, and now here's me. Here's my chat on screen, which is being brought over via Chatty, and it seems to be lined up correctly. I might need to move it in slightly, just a smidge, just to, like, I can have it so it all fits reasonably well like that. And then this is how my chat will appear, and you can make this whole image bigger. You can click edit scene, click on the right box, sorry, and then you can make everything on here bigger. So if I actually if I grab everything like this, I can then just stretch you all. I can stretch this here and then stretch the other things as and when required. So I can make this as big as I want, but I'm going to leave this yeah, about there. And you can stay the same. In fact, actually that's a bit off. I think I need to make this slightly bigger there. So there we go. So now it's all connected, and as you can see, there was this one just here, which is the last window capture to go up. And if I click test followers, and this box should appear when it appears. I don't know why it's not working at the moment. Why are you not appearing on stream? Test followers, go on. I don't know why it's not appearing right now, but it should do. Possibly because this isn't. Yeah, it's a main alert. There we go. And they're slightly off at the moment. I need to move this box over here, and you can kind of see if I put that there and then I move that down, I actually want it underneath everything else. So that one, move down. If I click test followers again, there we go. You see how it all lines up quite nicely. And then the same with testing donations. This should appear all quite nicely in the corner here. And you see I can read the text. You can see the text on the screen, and you can move these things around and make them bigger or smaller, and as and when is required. And there we go, we'll stop that. So that is pretty much the basics, like using what I think is the best piece of software for showing donations, for showing follows, showing subscriptions, Chatty, which works really well. And as you can see, this kind of does work. It's there's a slight latency between and delay between clicking like a test, and this will be the same for when you receive donations or follows. It'll be slightly delayed as it transfers through the servers to get to you to display, but then Twitch is all about having that slight delay anyway. So this is pretty much a basic setup when it comes to streaming on Twitch. When it comes to using a capture card, and I kind of rambled on a bit, when it comes to using a capture card, there is a few other options here. So I'm gonna go down here and we're gonna click properties, and as you can see, I've got a Live Gamer HD, and I'm using a single PC to stream. So with the Live Gamer HD, it's just as simple as selecting it there, and then you can configure it. Now this is actually set, oddly, to do everything at 1080p. But if I go over to settings, and then we want video, it's actually, yeah, I'm actually streaming out at 1080p. I thought I'd set it to 720p, but actually I've been streaming at 1080p at 30 frames per second. Everything is set to 1080p, and to be quite honest, on my system, with a few tweaks of a few things, I've had really great frame rate. Like gameplay frame rate has been fantastic. Some of the more intensive things I've had to turn off because I can't actually do them all while streaming, but in 1080p. But I turned a few things down in Fallout 3 especially, New Vegas, whichever you want to call it. In the game I've been streaming recently, I had to turn a few things down, a few settings down to medium rather than high. But I changed some things in the encoding because I'm actually using NVNC. So I'm actually using NVNC preset, and I set this to high performance. So I'm actually getting a really great stream. The video quality is really good. Some of the bells and whistles on stream are turned down because I've had to, which is just one of the things you've just got to deal with. But in fact, the video quality is adequate. And sometimes it's less about the video, more about the personality that is on screen, that like me, who's talking to you. So that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I've covered everything I wanted to cover, and essentially it's all down to money. You can buy a capture card for about £100, or you can go out and get a piece of software, Dxtory, which will do it all for you for much less. The reason why I'm using a capture card is because I got mine really cheap. I got it secondhand via a friend who was trying to get into streaming and recording and ended up deciding I don't want it anymore. Could not sell it on at the price he paid for it, so I got it slightly cheaper. And essentially I had some issues with one game. I installed the other media card really easily, installed the software, done, ready to start streaming this game, or a game specifically. But as I say, if software can't do it, hardware can, and that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I've given you the information. I haven't rambled on too much. I know it's a bit. I'm recording this late at night, but yeah, this is pretty much me signing off, and all the links in the description for all the pieces of software that I've used and everything will be there, and it's literally just down to you to make the decisions of what money you want to spend. I hope this part 2 video has come across really well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.